For those in the audience getting to know you for the very first time, care to share where you were born
Detroit, Michigan.
and care to share where you were raised as well.
I was raised all over the place. I was born in Detroit, Michigan, East Lappin, but I was moving like every 2 3 years, and I'm glad that happened because I was able to soak in different areas and adapt it to my personality. So that's why I'm like so versatile, and not average, because I didn't just grow up in one confined environment. I was all over Michigan.
Do you want to share a chronological order of all those different places in your life?
Went from Lappin to East Point to the West Side, Southfield, then Harper Woods, Harper Woods, Harrison Township. If you're from Michigan, you know all the states, all the cities. I'm saying Harrison Township, I think Clinton Township, and when I turned 18, then I went to Warren. Then when I turned 18 or 17, before I turned 18, I moved back to Detroit, the West Side, Roseline. Stayed there for about a year, and then I moved to Atlanta.
And care to share where you reside these days?
I'm in Atlanta now. Planning on staying here. I love it here. You know what I'm saying? Best move I ever made.
Now, speaking of moves, let's dissect that a little bit further. Why all those different moves for you during your raising?
I couldn't tell you. It's not like my family struggled. My dad had a great job. My mama had a great job. Money was coming in. I don't know. I think they was just renting houses. Like I was so young, so I thought it was literally normal to move every 2 3 years. But I don't know. Still can't tell you to this day. I actually want to ask them why the hell do we move so much.
And what about that move to Atlanta? What was the reason behind that?
Man, oh man, that shit changed my life. So I moved to Atlanta. I came to Atlanta for a trip. I never even like really knew the significance of Atlanta, Georgia. I came for a trip because my man's had a Tristan. He had like an interview with Off the Porch, a common or a local popular interviewing platform. So I came down there just to come with him, and I ended up having people that knew me down here. So linked up with them, connect with them, and then I ended up like just doing so much new things that was brand new to my reality. I also ended up meeting NLE Choppa, went to his house, was on stage with him, ended up doing a lot of things with him. Theo Wisseh, met him the next day. I just met a whole bunch of different content creators, and I'm seeing like, what the hell? Like I'm coming from Detroit to a whole different reality that I only saw on movies. Like not on movies, but on my phone. I didn't think was obtainable. So I ended up having problems at home, let's just say, because it was like a shared house. I had a duplex where I was up top and my mom and my stepdad was on the bottom. Ended up, just getting into it with them real bad. Went home. I'm like, I'm not about to stay here. I'm like, I just came back from all this life. I'm like, you know what? I'm about to move now. So I jumped in the water. I moved to Atlanta like the next couple of days with no money. I struggled. I was homeless. I was moving from B&Bs to hotels to friend cribs to my girl car. Just I wanted to make it work because I seen what Atlanta did for me. So me doing that for so long, I was able to get enough money to get my own crib, and just now I'm just chilling here. Just best move I ever made. I definitely recommend like taking risk in life because that was the biggest risk I took and the best reward that I got. So
Now, prior to the trip to Atlanta, what was your popularity like on social media?
before Atlanta, I was still blowing up on TikTok. I was blowing up on TikTok and just seeing the influencers. I mean, just seeing the online side of it. I wasn't getting no physical rewards, like no physical benefits from TikTok or on the influencer side of it. So it wasn't until I came to Atlanta where I started like getting noticed more, seeing what my impact was doing in real life. So that's what made me see like, oh wow, this is actually real. I have to move here. You know what I'm saying? So
So prior to that move to Atlanta, was TikTok your most popular social media platform for you back then?
yeah,
And what would you say your following was before Atlanta?
700,000,
And now currently?
1 million. But I stopped putting effort into it. I feel like if I was putting as much effort in TikTok than I was like then, I would have way more. But I started to migrate towards Instagram. Now Instagram is my favorite platform.
Now, you'd mentioned it in a previous portion of questions, but just to reiterate for this portion, just in case those in the audience are tuning into this segment of questions, care to share your screen name on IG and your screen name on TikTok as well?
Real Chosen, all platforms. I got another account with Real Chosen 777. That's like my main video platform, and then my TikTok is Real Chosen 7. But it's gonna pop up if you type in Real Chosen.
That homeless period in your life in Atlanta, once you decide to make that move, how long do you think that lasted for approximately?
It was from, see, it's crazy because it was really from the move all the way until January when I moved back home, but it didn't dawn on me until I was out of money. So I'm over here thinking I'm just getting B&Bs, I'm just collabing with a lot of people, working, all this stuff. I'm not even realizing that I really don't have a home here. So when I'm getting short on money, I'm realizing like, what am I about to do when I check out? And everything went down here from there. Everything for at least 3 to 4 months. It was always a constant anxiety, a constant panic. But I had a girlfriend at the time that was in North Carolina, and she would drive down to just see me, and we would thug it out together. We went through so much. It was so much struggling, so much trying to make money, so much. It was just the worst time period I ever had, and I'm just glad that's over. Like, oh, it was bad. It was bad, but it was worth it.
So, what would you say that approximate time length was for you?
3 4 months. It was from it's July to like November. Yep, November.
And were things so bad monetarily you made that decision to move back home?
Nope, it was actually pretty smooth. I went to my cousin's house, and we were just he had a spare room. Moved down there and just was motivated to just get my money back up so I can move back to Atlanta. Ended up moving the following April.
Have you reconciled with your step parent since then?
Yeah, it was my mom and my stepdad. We got into it. Me and my stepdad got into it pretty bad, and I was just mad at my mama because it was like a lot of things that was going on, and I was very more stubborn and I was less healed. So I moved to Atlanta, didn't talk to my mom. Like she would be checking on me. That was the first time in my life like I ignored my mama. So it was just a lot of stuff that I was holding on to, but I ended up talking to her. We talked like nothing ever happened. It was all love. My stepdad, I was still mad at him for about another 6 months. Then I just thought one day, if you're familiar with sun gazing, I was sun gazing, and then I just got like a random wave of just good vibes, good energy, and I thought about him. I'm like, man, I forgive you. I'm like, I forgive you. I'm not. I just said that to myself. Like, I forgive you. I sent them a text. Sorry, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just basically apologized for the situation, and then everything was good from there. When I went home to Detroit, we talked about it. Everything is good now. I let him.
Now, circumstances could be different for everybody.
hmm
But can you give the audience 5 tips on moving to ATL?
5 tips on moving to ATL. You talking about actually like physically moving, or
Yes.
just things to learn?
Either or, however way you want to take this question.
Okay, bet. Moving to ATL, I would say number one, upgrade your hustle. When you move, you're not moving to average city or average state. You know what I'm saying? You moving to like a place that's high in inflation, every rent high as hell. You know what I'm saying? So you want to increase your hustle when you move down here, and it's an easy place to do it because everybody working, everybody know people, everybody networking. So it's like just get outside. You know, you won't get enough motion and enough money to really upgrade your lifestyle. I say hustle harder. I say a lot of people really demonize Atlanta and just they really milk it. They really over exaggerate it. It's not as bad as you think. It's the same as every other hood, but it's like it's just more mainstream. People think like don't go to this place or don't go to this city, don't go to Lenox Mall. Like you can go to all these places. It's all about how you move and just making sure that you just treating everybody good. They don't just go out shooting random people. That's number two. Number three, I would say make a lot of connections like to the point where you can get good houses, good CPNs, good things, like good places to move. Like just meet people. Don't be afraid to talk. If you're an introvert, this is the city where you need to be talking to people that because it can change your life. It literally changed mine. Four, move on the outskirts. You know what I'm saying? Depends on what type of person you is. Move to Marietta, Gwinnett. Move on the outside of Atlanta. It's cheaper. It's more calm. If you want to be in the way, I say move to Atlanta. But if you want to just be, you know what I'm saying, come in when you need something. For the most part, move to the outskirts. That's four. Number five, I say moving to Atlanta. I'll say shit. I said upgrade your lifestyle. Really, man.
And if it's
I'll
4, that's
say
okay
just
too.
I said go out. Yeah, the main thing is go out. Like leave your house, bro. Go to all be in the way, bro. Like you don't know who you could meet like going to these events. You don't know what person that can really just like do something for you. You don't know who you might come across. Like just go out to dinner, to fancy spots. Just be outside. Like just always network, always work your mouthpiece, cause that shit can change your life. So that's the 5 things, main 5 things.
Okay, now thinking about your birthplace, your raising, things of that nature. Out of all those places you moved to, if there was a circle chart of 100%, what percentage you think was the longest length of time you stayed in a certain part of the area where you were raised at?
Warren. I stayed in Warren. My mama moved to Warren, and I was there for about 5, 6 years. My dad was also in St. Clair Shores for about 13 years, but my mom was moving around so much that, we was doing every 4 or 3 days. We would switch. Ended up falling out with my dad coming up and ended up staying with my mama for a long ass time. So I'll say for the most part it was Warren. So many memories in that spot.
But up until the point from the time you were born in Detroit to the time you moved to Atlanta, you stayed predominantly in the state of Michigan.
Only in Michigan.
Now, what was that like, really like, growing up in the state of Michigan for you, no matter the place?
Michigan was cool. It was great. Like the thing that Michigan has that nobody else has, no other city, specifically Detroit, is the coolest people. Like, of course, they might be rude if you don't know them, but when you get to know Michigan people, we have the best vibe. Like, especially Detroit. Like, the best lingos, the best energy. Like, you would just love to be around a Detroit person. That was the best thing that I got growing up in Michigan, was meeting the best people. The food, ass. The sightseeing, ass. All the other shit was ass. That's why I love my city, because of the people. The people hold so much weight. So yeah, man, that was the best part about growing up in Michigan. It was like calm. My parents wasn't strict, but they wasn't just, I don't care about you, go outside all day. So I was barely outside. Most thing I did was go to the movies. If I wanted to go somewhere, I'll go to my cousin Jalen's house, and they will do something. I was barely really outside growing up. So when I turned 17, that's when I really started being in the mix and really started doing things. So for the most part, I was just in school, movies, crib. Nothing really.